Hi, this is Dr. Enjoy. Are you tired of all the stress, trauma, mental illness, drugs, toxic relationships, money worries, identity crisis, gender dysphoria, grief, loss, purposelessness? Wouldn't it be great to have something to help guide you through all of this stress? Well, look no further. Purchase your Enjoyno, Nurturing Authentic Living. This isn't your ordinary journal. It's a 7-in-1 therapy companion that covers 5 crucial health areas: mental, physical, financial, aspirational, and social health, plus 2 core foundations: resilience and empowerment, crafted using my innovative Inspire Joy method. This book packs 300 pages filled with journal prompts, therapeutic worksheets, 100 positive affirmations, self care tips, and action steps, all designed to help you unlock your path to less stress and more joy. Head to Amazon today to purchase your Enjoyno for just $39.08. Don't you want to experience less stress and more joy? I just literally asked the patient that today. Don't you want to experience joy? Even if you don't know how to experience joy, or even if you don't know when it's going to happen, knowing that you want to experience, that is the first step to take towards your journey to joy. Welcome to Journey to Joy Live, a podcast to promote wellness, resilience, and joy while providing mental health awareness and breaking down the stigma of mental illness in the Black community. I'm your host, Dr. Enjoy, and today I bring to you episode 60. Inspire less stress with more joy. Elevate your joy. So today, this podcast episode is all about looking into the lovely Enjoyno. I published last week. I am now an author. I've been wanting to publish this for some time now. In fact, the Enjoyno actually dates back 8 to 9 years, because what is the Enjoyno? What is this? Well, first of all, it's a journal. It's a therapy companion. It's something you can use with your therapist as you work through whatever you're working on. And it's something you can use even if you don't have a therapist. So there's pages for you to journal. There's prompts, therapeutic strategies, self-care tips, positive affirmations. I counted all the affirmations in this book. There's 100 positive affirmations on the dot. So a lot of positivity in here. So it's a journal. And of course, my brand is Enjoy. I'm Dr. Enjoy. So I had to call it Enjoyno. And when I say it dates back 8 to 9 years, that is because when I would go to my own phone and journal, because I actually have a lot of book journals that I would write in, but I also like writing into the notes portion of my phone. So there is, the app called InkPad. So you can go on an InkPad, you can type whatever you want. You create grocery lists, you can do anything. So I would go in there and journal, and I always called it Enjoyno. And so this year, maybe last year, I says, oh, why don't I publish a journal and call it Enjoyno? So the idea behind the Enjoyno, my brand, is that it helps you enjoy life, helps you elevate your joy, helps you know that you can choose joy, choose the journey to joy, and enter that and experience it, because it is a decision to enter joy. Joy just doesn't fall on you. And I talk about that on every episode of this podcast. So if you are experiencing stress, and when I talk about stress, like inspire less stress and elevate more joy, I'm clumping all those things that are your joy stillers under the title stress, right? What does stress look like? Stress could be loss, grief, burnout, compassion fatigue, parenting issues, money worries, purposelessness, just not feeling like you have a purpose, confusion, not knowing your identity, addiction, mental illness, toxic relationships. The list goes on and on and on, because there are multiple stressors that we all experience. So clumping all that under the word stress, don't you want to experience less stress and more joy? I just literally asked the patient that today. Don't you want to experience joy? Even if you don't know how to experience joy, or even if you don't know when it's going to happen, knowing that you want to experience, that is the first step to take towards your journey to joy. So I've explained the name Enjoy No. The NAL stands for nurturing authentic living because in order to experience joy, we need to live authentically, to be authentic and to be yourself and to be able to be confident of who you are, to have that self compassion and self respect and self worth. That helps with joy. That just oozes you out with joy when you are living authentically. So it's a journal and a therapy companion, and it's a 7-in-1. What is a 7-in-1 book? I've mentioned Inspire. I've created a method called the Inspire Joy Method, and Inspire stands for something. Mentioned that last week. INSPIRE. It stands for integrity, nurture, stability, purpose, intimacy, resilience, and empowerment. So the Inspire Joy Method that is throughout this book is helping you with 5 crucial health areas. So the integrity is your mental health. And under integrity isn't just your mental health. It's the way you think, it's your emotional health, your spiritual health, and your ability to get past traumas. The N, nurture, that's your physical health. Eating healthy, getting good sleep, making sure you have good sleep habits, and exercise, making sure you're meeting your doctor's visits and adhering to medications. And if there's something wrong with your body, staying in tune with what's happening with your body and doing something about it if there is something wrong. And even if there's not anything wrong, keeping up with your physical visits, your the well child checks for kids, your immunizations, or your annual physicals every month. So after the N is S for stability, financial health, being secure financially, working towards being debt free, all those things that make you feel financially secure. And the next level of health after the S is P for purpose. That's your aspirational health, your aspirations. Knowing that you have a purpose, knowing your purpose, simply self reflecting and being able to look and go after what you are to do in your life. And then after that is the second I in Inspire, which is intimacy, your social health, being able to have the capability to communicate and to foster good relationships, right? And community involvement and to minimize as many toxic relationships possible in your life. And lastly, are the two, so those are the 5 health areas. And lastly, are the 2 core foundations resilience and empowerment. You got to have resilience and empowerment in order to be able to foster those 5 crucial health areas, that mental health, that physical health, financial health, social health, and aspirational health. If you're not resilient and not able to bounce back from adversity, it's very difficult to be able to uplift those different health areas. And to feel empowered means making your own decisions, being able to make decisions that align with your purpose, being able to practice boundaries and say no when you want to say no, and being able to say yes when you want to or ask for your needs. So that empowerment and that resilience is a foundation for those other health areas. So let's dive in. That's an overview of the Inspired Joy method that I created. How did I come up with that? Because it just even looking at my own life, when I think about my health areas, my mental health, physical health, financial health, aspirational health, and financial health, there are many days where 3 out of 5 are doing great. And then one of the things, something happens, right? And then I'm just like, oh, I thought I was doing great. But then when one acts up, then that just ruins my whole day. And I'm just like, you know what? We need to pay attention to all areas of health, not just one, not just two, not just 3 or 4, all of them. The colors of this book. If you know me, you know I love colors. Look at my wall, look at what I wear, look at this mic, my wedding colors, purple, turquoise, and pink. Love colors. And people who know me say that these are Nina colors. I need to give props. Actually, I meant to give props at the beginning of this. Marvin Young, my brother-in-law, he is the graphic designer behind all these lovely colors and graphics inside the book. So I want to show you, this is what I came up with in Canva. And he took this and turned it into this. Yes, yes. Thank you, Marvin Young. And then he grabbed so many other different images and put them in this book. It's amazing. Look at this. The first thing you see is color. Color to me, it brings me joy. If you're that kind of person, you're going to love this. So it's broken up into basically 7 different books inside one. So that's the 7 in 1. You start by taking a self-assessment. It's called the Inspired Joy Self-Assessment, because wouldn't it be nice to know how you score in each area of your life? Do you score the lowest in mental health? Do you score the lowest in purpose? Sometimes we know, sometimes we don't. So as you do that, you can either start at the beginning of the journal. The first part is integrity, the I in inspire, or you can just choose around which section you want to start in. In the book, it says, 4 weeks to get through integrity, because integrity is loaded with working through your thought health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, and getting past your traumas. So it's recommended that it takes about a week for each of those, a week for the thought health, a week for the emotional health, a week for getting through gratitude, spiritual health section, and a week for the last section, getting past traumas. However, you can take your time. So it might add up to about 11 weeks total with getting through this, but you can spin through it as fast as you want. You can do it in the 11 weeks, or you can take as long as you want and do it over the year. Because just because you get through it in the 11 weeks does not mean everything, is healed. But the idea is that you have definitely moved and progressed a lot further into your joy. And at the end of getting through every section is the Inspired Joy Daily Log, which helps you each day think about all of the areas of your health. What did I think about today? How was my thought health today? How are my emotions today? Did I practice gratitude today? How was my self-care? Did I do any physical exercise? Did I eat healthy? Did I sleep well? How was my financial health today? Did I make any good decisions, financial decisions towards my purpose? How was my purpose? Did I do anything that works towards my short-term and long-term goals? How was my resilience? How was my empowerment? So those Inspired Joy daily logs help with you thinking about all those areas. So as you can look in the integrity section, and what's so amazing is that each section starts out with someone who hopefully reminds you of you, right? You got the Black female here, you have a Black male here. That's the beginning of the integrity section. And the thought section is called thought shifts. Every section ends with shift, because the idea is that you want to shift your thoughts from negative to positive. And there's prompts here using cognitive behavioral therapy. I've talked about CBT multiple times. Cognitive behavioral therapy is crucial when it comes to being able to think about your thoughts and being able to transform your negative automatic thoughts to more positive thoughts. So there's a lot of prompts here in the thought shift section that helps you think about, what am I thinking right now? What happened? Why am I thinking this? What's a better alternative thought for me? Cognitive behavioral therapy is been created for a reason. And so it's very important for you to use those techniques. And again, I have to reiterate, if you have a therapist, it's great to go through this with your therapist. If you don't have a therapist and you're finding, oh, I think I need a therapist to work through these things, get a therapist. Reach out to me. I can help you. Um, it's definitely something that you should do. Get some support working through the journal. And it's definitely easy to do. It's also easy to do without a therapist as well. So the next section in integrity is emotion shifts. Again, ending in shifts, because we want to shift our negative emotions to positive emotions. We want to be able to practice emotional regulation. Within that is being able to have improvement of your emotional intelligence, that empathy, being self-aware. So I talk a lot about emotional intelligence and how we can improve that, as well as DBT strategies, dialectical dialectical behavioral therapy. That is a therapy that helps you improve your emotional regulation as well as mindfulness. And speaking of mindfulness, there's another strategy in this section, mindfulness-based stress reduction. So it's packed with research, evidence-based therapeutic strategies for you to use on a day-to-day basis. It's not just your everyday journal. And also within each section is a mindfulness moment. So within each section, it's kind of like, okay, well, you telling me to correct my emotions. You're telling me to correct my thoughts. How do I do that? So there's a mindfulness moment that actually gives a legit grounding exercise or a mindfulness exercise to go along with the section. So you got here therapeutic strategies. You have here some worksheets that you can work through that's asking you questions on what happened and why you feeling that way or why you're thinking that way. Then you got your more positive affirmations. You have your notes pages to simply write. And at the end of each notes page is another affirmation that's positive and for you to think about because it's asking you like, okay, well, which technique are you going to use? And you're like, well, I don't know which technique. You can use the mindfulness moment. Also, there's a whole enjoyable coping and wellness strategies where I list, I was going to do 30, but I think I ended up doing 20. It just seemed to be a lot and they were a little bit redundant. So I cut it down to about maybe 18 enjoyable coping strategies. So that's in the back of the book. I also have a glossary of terms in the back of the book because guess what? I'm creating a lot of different things. I'm talking about the inspired joy method, thought shifts, emotion shifts, gratitude shifts, all kinds of things. So if it was anything confusing, there's a glossary of terms at the back. And then, like I said, the list of coping strategies. So then after emotion shifts, you go into gratitude shifts because you want to shift into practicing gratitude. How are you going to be joyful and elevate your joy if you can't practice gratitude? The opposite of gratitude is thinking about the lack, thinking about what you don't have. And so gratitude helps you see the positives in your life, even if it's small, and being able to be thankful. Even if, your child is acting up, you could say, well, thank you for this child. I worked and prayed hard for this child. Myself, we've had 2 miscarriages, and I'm very thankful for my children. So I have to remember that I'm grateful. If he works my nerves, thank you, Lord. And gratitude isn't always about, saying thank you, Lord, if you're not a spiritual person. But whether you are religious or not, there is spirituality in you and spirituality in gratitude. And so that's why it focuses on also the spiritual health in this section. And I talk a lot about positive psychology as well in the gratitude section. So the last part of the of the integrity section is getting past our trauma. Trauma yields. If you notice, I tried to kind of spell out integrity. So the T in integrity is thoughts. Then there's the E, that's emotions. And the GR in integrity is the gratitude. And the TY is trauma yields. Hey, it works. So trauma yields strength. Trauma yields healing. Trauma yields empowerment. Trauma can yield resilience. So that's why I call it trauma yields. Your trauma is pain and it haunts you. Your past just stays with you. But in this section, I'm helping you get through that and yield strength from it rather than victim, rather than helplessness, rather than depression, rather than post-traumatic stress disorder. Again, I reiterate in this section, work through this with a therapist if you need to. Most people need to. Again, there's worksheets asking you questions on how you think about your trauma and how your trauma affects you, and then suggestions and mindfulness moments on how to get through that. And then once we get through the integrity section of the inspire joy, the N is nurture. And you're going through, there's self-care affirmations in here, positive affirmations. I introduced the concept of SMART goals. It's the first introduction of SMART goals. I didn't create SMART goals, but it's the first introduction of SMART goals in the Enjoyno. So a SMART goal SMART. I love mnemonics, so this was great. When it comes to creating goals for yourself and for your self-care routine and for goals for your life, coming up with a specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely goal. So I came up with strategies that makes it specific to your physical goals. And this, of course, is called nurture shift because you're shifting into nurturing your body into strength and vitality and doing all those things that your body needs to do to get you through this life. So that is the nurture shift. I even have a 30-day self-care challenge in here. And there is a section about medications. A lot of times I have patients who don't know the name of their medications or why they're taking them. Or when I see them, they don't know how it's affecting them. They don't know their side effects. So I have a section here to write down your medications and, reminding you to make sure you are taking them and talking to your mental health provider about your medications. And if there's an issue, talk to them about it. Don't just stop it. Make sure you're taking your medication. Obviously, if you're not on any medications, you don't have to. And that's not just mental health medications, it's whatever medication, because our physical body, it deals with what we're taking, whatever goes in our body. So then the S in Inspire, stability, financial health. So going through financial shifting into prosperity, into financial wellness, into being debt free, into being able to pay your bills on time, and helping with, balancing out your expenses and your income, and lots of different prompts and notes pages for being able to plan into your financial health. Of course, there's more SMART goals in this section, being able to set specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely goals when it comes to your financial health, because we need it, and that is a daily thing. The P in Inspire, purpose. Do I know my purpose? What is my purpose? What are my aspirations? You can be doing good in a lot of areas of your life, but if you feel like you have nothing to look forward to or you have no purpose, that can bring you down. That can bring your joy down. That is a joy stiller. So it's really important to reflect. And it takes work. I mentioned that a lot. It always takes work to work on yourself. So if you're looking at this like, whoa, that's a lot. Well, that's why it takes 11 weeks or more, because you're spending just one day on one of these pages. You're not going through all this at all times. So don't feel overwhelmed. But again, there's more prompts. And for the purpose, there's more SMART goals. So there's SMART goals in the nurture section, the purpose section, and the financial section. Because making goals, short-term and long-term, it's good to be able to make them specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely, because that is what makes these goals for you able to complete when they are in the SMART method. So the last health section of this book is intimacy, your social health, being intimate with others, whether it's a personal relationship or professional relationship, an associate or a community relationship. So more mindfulness moments. And this one goes through conflict resolution. If I'm having an issue with a friend, an issue with somebody socially, how can I get through that? So being able to get through, being able to communicate well with someone. And these worksheets are called Intimacy Shift. Again, the shifting into positive relationships, shifting from a toxic relationship to a positive relationship. More mindfulness moments in this section as well, and notes pages and positive affirmations. The R in Inspire is resilience. So we gotten out of our 5 crucial health areas, and now we're getting into our first of our core foundation, and that is resilience. So there's tons of notes pages as well as prompts and worksheets to help you figure out, am I resilient? How can I get resilient? How can I bounce back from challenges? There's challenges all throughout the day, from a small challenge to a large challenge. There's all these challenges. So how can I get through it? And don't I want to get through it? Don't I want to bounce back? So this is very important to want it. A lot of times we feel like we want to blame others for what's going on, but having this book helps you realize that there's something in you that you can change and that you have the power to change. And the power to change leads into the last section of Inspire, the empowerments. So you want to be able to realize that you have the power to change yourself. Nobody has the power to change you except for you. You can change the way you think. You can change the way you feel. You can change and work on and protect your physical health and your financial health and your social life. You can do those things. And again, once you get through these several sections, these 7 sections, you go into the Inspire Joy daily log, and it helps you be able to focus on all those things at once. So the beginning of the book is pretty much going through the Inspire one section at a time because you can't do it all at once if that's not something you're used to. If you're used to it, great, but a lot of us aren't. So going through each section by itself, you're able to focus on one at a time. And once you get through all that, you're equipped to be able to think about all those areas at the same time and go through the Inspired Joy daily log. So I hope this was helpful. This is Inside the Enjoyno Inspire Joy method created by myself. Inspire less stress and more joy. Thank you for listening. Head over to Amazon. You can gonna get all that for $39.08. In fact, it's on sale for $36. I noticed that Amazon picks and chooses when it's gonna put it on sale. It was $30 2 days ago. I'm like, okay, Amazon, that's cool. That's fine with me. But all of that joy for just $39.08. Also, I can give talks to your organization. You want me to come and talk about the Inspire Joy method. How can we inspire stress into joy? Come book me. I'm here. Thank you. Have a great day and enjoy your Enjoyno.